My name is Nicole Carter, and I'm 36 years old. I'm a single mother of 2 kids, Emma, who's 12, and Lucas, who's 9. 3 months ago, my entire extended family threw a massive family reunion to celebrate my grandmother's 80th birthday. 200 people. Rented venue, catered food, live band. They posted pictures all over Facebook and Instagram for a week. My kids and I weren't invited. Not because they forgot, not because of some clerical error, but because my family is embarrassed that I'm a single mother. They think I'm poor, that I'm struggling, that we don't fit their image of success. What they don't know, or maybe they just don't care, is that I'm the same person who's been bailing them out financially for years. The same person they call when they need money. The same person who's always been there. Until I decided I was done. Let me start from the beginning. I come from a big family. 3 siblings, dozens of cousins, aunts, and uncles everywhere. We used to be close when I was younger. Big family dinners, holiday gatherings, birthday parties. It felt like we were all connected, like family meant something. I was the oldest of my siblings, did well in school, went to college on scholarships, got a degree in nursing. I had a good job at a hospital, made decent money, was responsible with my finances. At 23, I met Daniel. He was charming, ambitious, said all the right things. We got married fast, maybe too fast. I got pregnant with Emma 6 months after the wedding. Then Lucas came 2 years later. For a while, things seemed good. We had a little house, 2 healthy kids, stable jobs. But Daniel changed after Lucas was born. Started staying out late, being secretive with his phone, picking fights over nothing. I found out he was cheating when Lucas was 1. Some woman from his office. He didn't even try to hide it well. I left him, filed for divorce, got primary custody of the kids, and moved into a small apartment I could afford on my nursing salary. It wasn't easy, but we managed. My kids were fed, clothed, happy. We had movie nights and park days and bedtime stories. We were okay. My family, though, they had opinions. My mother called me the week after I filed for divorce. "Are you sure about this?" she asked. "Marriages go through rough patches. Maybe you should try counseling." "He cheated on me, Mom," I said. "I'm not staying with someone who disrespects me like that." "Think about the kids," she said. "They need a father." "They need a mother who respects herself," I told her. "I'm not teaching my daughter that she should stay with a man who betrays her." My dad was worse. He pulled me aside at a family dinner a few months after the divorce. "You know this makes you look bad, right?" he said. "Look bad to who?" I asked. "To everyone," he said. "Divorced at 25 with 2 kids? People are going to think you couldn't keep your marriage together." "People can think whatever they want," I said. "I'm doing what's best for my children." My siblings weren't much better. My sister Angela would make comments about how hard it must be being a single mom, how she couldn't imagine doing it alone, how grateful she was for her husband. My brother Jason would joke about me being on the market again, asking if I was using dating apps, making me feel like my worth was tied to finding another man. My youngest brother Marcus was the only one who was supportive. "You did the right thing," he told me. "Daniel was an asshole. You and the kids are better off." But Marcus was the black sheep of the family for other reasons. He was an artist, didn't have a traditional job, lived in a tiny studio apartment. The family looked down on him too. Over the years, I noticed things shifting. I'd get invited to fewer family events. When I did get invited, there would be comments. "Can you afford to bring something for the potluck?" my aunt would ask. Or, "We understand if you can't make it. We know money is tight for you." Money wasn't tight. I was making good money as a nurse. I'd worked my way up to a senior position, was pulling in $70,000 a year. I had savings. My kids had everything they needed and most of what they wanted. But because I was a single mother, my family assumed I was struggling. They treated me like I was a charity case. But here's the ironic part. They had no problem asking me for money. My sister Angela called me 4 years ago. Her husband had lost his job and they were behind on their mortgage. "Can you lend us $5,000?" she asked, "just until Mark finds another job. We'll pay you back." I lent her the money, transferred it the same day because I didn't want her to lose her house. Mark found a job 2 months later. I never saw that $5,000 again. When I asked about it, Angela acted offended. "We're still getting back on our feet," she said. "I can't believe you're asking about money when we're struggling." "You said you'd pay me back," I reminded her. "And we will," she said, "when we can." A year later, my brother Jason called. His daughter needed braces. Insurance didn't cover it. He was short $3,000. I gave it to him. Never got paid back. Then my cousin Rachel needed money for her wedding. My uncle needed money to fix his car. My aunt needed money for her son's graduation party. I gave and gave and gave, because that's what family does, right? You help each other. But it only went one way. When Emma needed money for school, nobody offered to help. When Lucas wanted to join soccer, but I was short on the registration fee that month, nobody stepped up. When my car broke down and I was scrambling to figure out how to get to work, nobody offered me a ride or a loan. I was the bank, not family. The bank. Then 3 months ago, the invitations went out for my grandmother's 80th birthday party, a massive celebration. My mom was organizing it with my aunts. They'd been planning it for months, rented out a huge venue, hired a caterer, booked a band. They made a Facebook event and invited everyone. Siblings, cousins, second cousins, family friends, everyone. Except me and my kids. I only found out about it because my cousin posted a picture of her invitation on Instagram. "So excited for Grandma's 80th. Going to be the party of the year," she'd written. I checked the Facebook event. 200 people invited. My name wasn't on the list. Neither were Emma or Lucas. I called my mother. "Mom, I saw the posts about Grandma's birthday party. When is it?" "Oh," she said, and I could hear the discomfort in her voice. "It's next month, the 15th. "Okay," I said. "I didn't get an invitation." There was a long pause. "Nicole, we need to talk about that," she said. "Talk about what?" "Why you're not invited," she said. "We decided as a family that it would be best if you didn't come." My stomach dropped. "What? Why?" "Because it's embarrassing," she said. "What's embarrassing?" "You, Nicole," she said, her voice getting sharp. "You're a divorced single mother. You're struggling financially. It doesn't look good." "I'm not struggling financially," I said. "Yes, you are," she insisted. "You live in an apartment. You drive an old car. Your kids wear hand-me-downs." "My kids wear hand-me-downs because I'm practical and they grow fast, not because I can't afford new clothes. And I live in an apartment because I'm saving for a house." "Well, that's not how it looks," my mother said. "And frankly, this party is important. There are going to be people there we need to impress. Business associates, family friends. We can't have you there representing the family when you're in your situation." "My situation?" I repeated. "You mean being a responsible single mother who takes care of her kids?" "You're being dramatic," my mother said.
"This isn't personal. It's just about optics." "Optics," I said. "You're excluding your granddaughter and grandson from their great-grandmother's birthday because of optics?" "They'll understand," my mother said. "They're young. They don't need to be at some big adult party anyway." "They're 12 and 9, I said. "Emma specifically asked about Grandma's birthday last month. She wanted to make her a card." "She can still make a card," my mother said. "She just doesn't need to come to the party." I hung up. I was shaking. My own mother had just told me I was too embarrassing to invite to a family party, that my kids weren't good enough to be included. I called my grandmother directly. "Grandma, it's Nicole," I said. "Sweetheart," she said. She always sounded happy to hear from me. "How are my great-grandbabies?" "They're good," I said. "Grandma, did you know I'm not invited to your birthday party?" There was a pause. "What do you mean?" I asked. "The party next month. Mom said we're not invited." "Who said that?" she asked, and she sounded angry. "Your mother said that?" "Yes," I told her. "She said it would be embarrassing to have me there because I'm a single mother and they need to impress people." "That's ridiculous," my grandmother said. "You're my granddaughter. Of course you're invited. Of course your babies are invited." "I tried to tell Mom that," I said, but she was pretty clear. "Let me handle this," my grandmother said. I called her later that week. "Did you talk to Mom?" I asked. "I did," she said, and she sighed. And your mother's being stubborn," Grandma said. "She and your aunts have it in their heads that this party needs to be perfect. They don't want anything that might make the family look bad." "So I'm what makes the family look bad," I said. "You being a single mother makes them uncomfortable," Grandma said. "They're idiots, but they're my children and they're planning this party. I can't force them to invite you." So that was it. I wasn't going. My kids weren't going. We were officially excluded from the family. The week of the party, my Facebook feed filled up with posts. Family members arriving from out of town, pictures of dress shopping, excitement about seeing everyone. Emma saw some of the posts. "Mom, why aren't we going to Great-Grandma's party?" she asked. I didn't know how to explain it in a way that wouldn't hurt her. "It's a very small party," I lied. "Just for grown-ups." "But Aunt Angela's kids are going," Emma said. She'd seen a post. "I saw their new dresses." "I know, sweetie," I said. "I'm sorry." "Did we do something wrong?" she asked, and my heart broke. "No, baby," I said, "you didn't do anything wrong." "Then why don't they want us there?" she asked. "Because sometimes people make unfair decisions," I told her, "and it's not your fault." The night of the party, I stayed off social media. But the next morning, my feed was flooded. Hundreds of pictures. The venue decorated beautifully, tables of food, a huge cake, my grandmother surrounded by family, looking happy. My mother and aunts posing together, my siblings with their kids, all dressed up, cousins I hadn't seen in years, all reunited. 200 people celebrating together. And we weren't there. Emma saw the pictures. "That's not a small grown-up party," she said quietly. "That's everyone." "I'm sorry," I said. "Why do they hate us?" she asked. "They don't hate us," I lied. But I knew the truth. They were ashamed of us. Then, 2 weeks after the party, my brother Jason called. "Hey, Nicole," he said, all friendly. "What's up?" "I need a favor," he said. "Of course you do," I said. My tone was cold. He didn't notice. "Melissa's car broke down," he said. "We need to replace the transmission. It's going to be $4,000. We're short about $2,000. Can you help us out?" "Let me get this straight," I said. "You want me to give you $2,000? "Yeah," he said, "just a loan. We'll pay you back by the end of the year." "You didn't invite me or my kids to Grandma's party." "What? That's different," he said. "That wasn't my decision. That was Mom and the aunts." "But you went along with it," I said. "You took your kids, you posted pictures, you celebrated with the whole family while my kids asked me why nobody wanted them there." "Nicole, come on," he said. "Don't be like that." "Don't be like what?" I asked. "Don't be hurt that my family excluded me and then immediately asked me for money?" "We're family," he said. "Family includes each other," I told him. "Family doesn't treat people like they're embarrassing and then ask for cash. I'm not giving you money." "Nicole, I'm done," I said.
I'm done being the person you all call when you need something and ignore when it's inconvenient to include me. Find someone else to be your bank. I hung up. Then I did something I'd been considering for weeks. I made a Facebook post. I wrote out everything. How I'd been excluded from my grandmother's party because my family was embarrassed by me being a single mother. How they'd told me I didn't fit their image of success. How my kids had been hurt by being left out. And then I listed every single time I'd given money to family members. Angela, $5,000 for mortgage, never repaid. Jason, $3,000 for braces, never repaid. Rachel, $1,500 for wedding expenses, never repaid. Uncle Tom, $1,000 for car repairs, never repaid. The list went on. Over $40,000 total that I'd lent to family members over the years. Money I never asked for back until now. I ended the post with, apparently, I'm too poor and embarrassing to include in family events, but not too poor to ask for money. To my family, you all are hypocrites. To my kids, you deserve better than people who judge you based on circumstances beyond your control. We're done with people who make us feel less than. I posted it publicly, tagged everyone who'd ask me for money, tagged my mother, my aunts, everyone who'd been at that party. Then I waited. The response was immediate. My phone started ringing within minutes. I didn't answer. Comments started flooding in, some from family members trying to defend themselves. "That's not fair, Nicole," my sister Angela wrote. "We were going to pay you back." "When?" I replied. "It's been 4 years." Others were angry. "You're airing family business publicly," my mother commented. "Have some class." "The irony of you telling me to have class," I wrote back, "is almost funny." But a lot of people, friends, distant relatives, even some family members I didn't know well, were supportive. "Good for you for standing up for yourself," someone wrote. "Your family should be ashamed of themselves." "This is terrible," another person commented. "Those kids didn't deserve to be excluded." Within 24 hours, the post had been shared over 1,000 times. People were talking about it. My family's dirty laundry was out there for everyone to see. My grandmother called me. "Nicole, I saw your post," she said. "Good," I said. "I'm sorry," she said.
I didn't know it had gone this far. I didn't know they'd been asking you for money all these years. I didn't want to burden you with it, I said, but I'm done pretending everything is fine. You were right to call them out, she said. They've been treating you terribly. A few days later, several family members apologized. Sort of. "I'm sorry you felt excluded," my sister Angela wrote in a message. "That's not a real apology," I wrote back. "You're sorry I felt excluded? How about you're sorry you excluded me?" My brother Jason tried a different approach. "Look, maybe we got carried away with the party planning," he said when he finally got me on the phone. "But did you have to blast us all on Facebook?" "Yes," I said, "because apparently that's the only way to get you all to see how you've been treating me." "We were trying to protect you," he said. "From what?" I asked. "From being around successful people? From having to explain to business associates why your sister is single? Protect me from what exactly?" "I don't know," he admitted. "It was stupid." "Yes, it was," I said. My mother was the last to reach out. She sent me a long email about how hurt she was that I'd embarrassed the family publicly, how I should have come to her privately, how she'd tried her best to raise me right. And this was how I repaid her. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded the email to my grandmother. She called me an hour later. "I just had a very long conversation with your mother," Grandma said. "And?" I asked. "And I told her that if she ever excludes you or those babies from a family event again, she'll be the one excluded from my will," she said. "Grandma, you don't have to do that." "Yes, I do," she said.
I didn't raise my children to be snobs. I didn't raise them to treat family like garbage because of their life circumstances. You're a good mother, Nicole. You work hard, you take care of your kids, and you've helped everyone in this family without ever asking for anything in return. If they can't see that, they're blind. Thank you, I said, and I started crying. You tell Emma and Lucas that great-grandma loves them very much, she said, and that they're invited to my house for a private birthday celebration next weekend, just the four of us. We'd love that, I said. That weekend, we went to my grandmother's house. She'd made Emma's favorite cookies and bought Lucas a new book. We had cake and sang happy birthday, and it was small and perfect and full of love. The rest of my family, I haven't spoken to most of them in 3 months. My mother sends occasional texts asking when I'm going to take down the Facebook post. I haven't. It stays up as a reminder of what happens when you treat people like they're not good enough. A few family members have tried to rebuild bridges. My brother Marcus has been great. He came to Lucas's soccer game last week. My cousin Rachel apologized genuinely and paid back the $1,500 she owed me. But most of them, they're waiting for me to get over it, to forgive and forget, to come back to family events and pretend nothing happened. I'm not interested. My kids and I are building our own family now. Friends who treat us with respect, people who show up for us, my grandmother who's always loved us unconditionally. Emma told me last week that she's glad we didn't go to that party. Why is that? I asked. Because the people there didn't want us, she said. And I don't want to be around people who don't want me. That's my smart girl, I told her. My name is Nicole Carter. I'm 36 years old. My family excluded me and my kids from a major family event because they were embarrassed that I'm a single mother, then immediately asked me for money like nothing was wrong. So I exposed every hypocritical thing they'd done publicly and cut them out of our lives. And my kids and I have never been happier.